All right, this is Danila Sands with MendoLake Complex Fire Relief, a disaster resource center in Mendocino County. We're doing an emergency preparedness webinar series. And today we have Garrett McCutcheon, the technical sales representative for Real Goods. And he is going to be discussing battery backups and solar. And just so if everyone's just joining, if you don't know the process, we projected this onto Facebook so you can ask questions in the Q&A or chat section on the Zoom webinar, or you can ask it in the comment section on Facebook, and we will ask the speaker halfway through when he is done with his presentation. All right. Garrett, are you ready?
Yeah, Danilo, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so let me share screen there. All right, so what I'm going to be talking about today is our solar powered battery backup systems. Just kind of running the full gambit of what we offer, and more importantly, what people can be thinking about for setting themselves up to be a little more secure if we, in the event of power failures and, the red flag warnings that we get with the power safety shutoffs, and just a little bit of peace of mind. So kind of what we're going over is, first off is system sizing, creating a load list, sizing the system, and then we'll kind of cover in short types of systems, which we have portable, standalone, and hybrid, and then we will have a Q&A. So first things when looking at trying to set yourself up with a battery storage or backup power, we kind of have to have a target. We have to know where we're going so that we can adequately size and build up to that. What I recommend is kind of like building out a list of items that you are wanting to have backed up. What is it that is, everything that you would like to have if the power goes out, to keep yourself comfortable and safe. And then we then like to separate those loads into critical loads and non-critical loads. So what that is, the most critical loads we think of is generally life-saving equipment like CPAP machines, anything that you need to keep medicine cold, like refrigerator, freezers, things of that nature. We really want to focus on things that you can't live without versus things that you could live without, like maybe your television would be nice to have, but not necessary, things like that. And so we want to break those loads up so that we can, size the system properly, and then also relegate your usage properly so that you're not left in the dark. And the other thing I want to touch on with that is how to acquire that information, because a lot of times the electrical information on your devices, a lot of times it's kind of difficult to find. And, the way I'd like to kind of show a simple way to get that information off of everyday devices so that you're able to quickly and easily size the system so it's going to work for you how you want it to work. So where I like to start is, we determine first like what we want to use for our system, and then we determine a budget, so what we have to work with. So that way we can, see if we're going to be able to run all the loads that you're looking for, or see if you maybe have to like size it down a little bit to begin with to handle the things that you can't live without. So that's where we want to start off first. And what we'd like to do is create a load list. And I believe I can click on this. Yes. So what we're able to do, there's a bunch of these calculators online. What you're able to do is go through and add appliances to a list, and it helps you kind of break down and break out what your usage is going to look like. So for example, we could put in here laptop computer. We've got one of those. It uses 65 watts. Surge rating is, we'll just say 100 watts. No DC watts. And you're using it for 5 hours a day. And so what we see here is you have a device, how many you have, what its power usage is, its surge rating, how long you use it for, and that spits out this number here at the end. So this is how much it uses at the end of the day. Another thing would be like a light bulb. So we have 3, say 40-watt light bulbs. Really no surge on those. And we're running those for maybe 10 hours. So what this can do is it lets you see exactly how much power you're actually going through, because a lot of times it's easy to get, think that you're not using a lot of electricity, that you're energy conscious. And, while you might very well be, the issue you can run into is some of those sneaky ones like light bulbs, they can get you over time versus just with the, the instantaneous use isn't very large. So once we go through, you can put everything into the load calculator, and it spits out a number that's the total amount that you use over a day. And so we can take that information, take it to a battery bank sizing tool, and we can enter in that number here and break down some of this information, like how many hours of, do you want to run, like what's your goals? Like if you want 1 day of runtime, do you want 2 days of runtime? And that's without any charging. That's just runtime by itself. So we can take that number and put it into there. We'd like to run for 2 days. And so it gives us an idea of how much power we have here. And so that's how we determine the size of the system that you're looking for. We take the loads that you want to run, and you can, and the best part is like with these tools, you can just play around with them to see, well, like what if I added this, what if I took away that, and get to that, to get to a number that is both what you would like to do and within the budget. This is kind of a simple way of determining loads. Like this is from my laptop. It uses 65 watts when it's charged and charging. So you can take that number, how long it takes to charge your laptop, and put that into the calculator. Another option are like these for appliances, like for refrigerators, for microwaves, air conditioners. You can get their energy guide, and what it does is it gives you, 387 kilowatt hours a day. And you just would take that number divided by 365 to give you your number. So that's roughly a little more than a kilowatt a day is how much this specific refrigerator uses. And so that's very important for putting together the size of your battery bank. So the different types of systems that are available, and this is kind of like the start, is a portable system. They're very affordable, they're portable, and they're easy to install. Usually it's just snapped together, maybe some assembly, really convenient. You can use it for emergency power if, we have a power safety shutoff, or if you want to go camping for the weekend and have some extra power, you can bring it with you. If you want to go camping and bring your CPAP machine with you, you could do that. There's tons of products available on the market that are filling this niche. And, you know, they're all relatively similar, and they're really kind of convenient. They do have a limited capacity. You're not going to really be able to integrate it into your existing home system. And the expansion on a lot of these systems is slim to none. But for, you know, basic power, you know, keeping the light on when there is no power, they do a really good job. The other type of system that is kind of pretty common is a standalone system. They can have substantial backup power just depending on how much batteries you're using. They're expandable. They are a lot of times integrated into your home system, and they have some detailed monitoring so you can see how much you're using, how much you know, how much power you have left. They're really good, really great backup systems, and can be customized to do a number of things. The cost is higher than a portable system. They don't charge when the power is out, and the installation can be a little bit difficult and could require a professional installation. But these systems are sometimes referred to as a UPC, or uninterrupted power circuit, and you're able to have a portion of your home backed up that never goes down in the event of a power outage, and they can handle some serious loads depending on the sizing, like running an air conditioner, running refrigerator, running well pumps. This is where we start getting into, you know, keeping critical things moving if the power is out, especially for people who are remote. These are could be a very good option for them. And finally, the hybrid systems. These provide substantial backup power. They're again expandable. They're fully integrated into your home system. They have detailed monitoring available. They also have the ability to charge when the power is out. So if we have a power safety shutoff and you don't get power for a long period of time, your solar is still charging, and it's integrated with selling back to the utility if you would like to do something like that. They are the highest cost types of systems, and they are difficult installation, and we highly recommend a professional install a system like this. But these systems are batteries, inverters, and solar panels, and they all work together to be able to provide you with serious and substantial backup power. So those are the types of systems, and if you have questions about those, I'm definitely happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. That was very informative. I appreciate that. And I'm sure our audience did as well. So I just want to remind everyone, if you're joining us via Zoom or Facebook, now is the time for you to ask your questions. I know that we already had some come in another way. So we're going to start with those. And just want to remind everybody that this will be on Facebook for later viewing in case you missed it now. And we have a couple more webinars tomorrow as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with our first question. Will my solar panels generate electricity when it's smoky outside?
So, I mean, that's a really good question. So solar panels, I mean, they are still going to produce power when with all the smoke that we're having. It's going to be less than normal. I mean, you treat the smoke like you treat clouds or like fog cover. So it is not going to be ideal. The one really big thing to keep in mind, after all the smoke and ash that we have coming in, at some point when it's calms down, washing off your panels is going to be a huge thing to look into doing, because you get that buildup, smoke, dust, ash on your panels. It really significantly, impedes how much energy you're producing.
Do you have a way to suggest to clean the solar panels?
I mean, the simplest way to clean solar, you don't want to use any detergents, you don't want to use any degreasers, mild soap and water. The best thing is really, and I know it can be difficult because they are on the roof, but just like the window cleaners that you can pick up at like a hardware store with the brush and the squeegee, that's really the best way just to get off anything that's built up on the modules.
Another question is, do you have to live off grid to have a solar system or solar backup? I'm sorry.
Absolutely not. Actually, with our industry that we're in right now and just kind of how the climate has been moving based on how selling power back to the utility is becoming less cost effective. Battery-backed systems and battery integrated systems, similar to the hybrid system that I kind of mentioned a little bit about, that's really becoming a big focus that we have for a lot of customers. You can absolutely have batteries and solar panels all on a grid type system.
Okay, another question. Going solar is expensive. Where do I start?
I mean, I definitely agree with you. Solar, it can definitely be expensive to start out. There are a lot of companies that are offering financing to do solar installations. There are some companies that are offering lease programs, although those are becoming kind of less done. They're not happening as often. But some companies have financing integrated into it. There's also finance companies that are out there who you can look into doing the financing. Because of the part of the industry I'm in, I don't work too much with financing, but I do know that there are companies out there who are offering that.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry. Does your place help install or hook it up?
No, we with Real Goods, we are just strictly like retail sales of solar equipment. We just do the system design, and we will provide you the equipment. The installation is something that we don't cover. I mean, there are a lot of good installers in Mendocino area. Some great ones on the coast, in Ukiah, in Willits. So, I mean, there are some that are out there.
Excellent. Is there room to expand my system if my electricity needs increase? So,
I mean, expansion of your system is always a possibility. It just kind of comes into, there's a few limiting factors. I mean, the first being space. There's the equipment that's already installed. Like, does it have room for expansion, or was it maxed out when it was installed? So those are some things to keep in mind, but it's always possible to add more panels, add another inverter, and expand your system. Although there is a hard limit with based on how much power the PG&E will take back. But I mean, that's a very high number, and so it's generally you can always expand.
what are the benefits? What are the benefits of solar versus a generator during power outages?
Okay, so I mean, the biggest benefit is there's no sound. I know the generators are definitely getting quieter than they used to be, but I mean, the solar is very quiet. Can be inside in a garage, and probably the most important thing is you're not having to burn any fuel and rely on that for your power which I mean, is a good thing for the environment as well. So that's the green good feelings is probably the biggest benefit.
You might have touched on this already, but is there one brand that you guys stick with, or is there a brand that you recommend?
Does it say specifically what for, or?
It did not say.
Okay. I mean, so for our company in particular, we try to only go with, brands and companies that we feel like have a good reputation and a good value for our customers, because, it's bad equipment means more service and there's more issues. And we don't like to deal with that because we think that that is a bad customer service offering. If we give you something that's going to fail, then it's just a stress for everybody. So we usually like to go with good equipment. So for inverters, like for off-grid or hybrid inverters, we like to use Solarc, Schneider, Outback, and we have panel manufacturers that we really like to use, QCell and REC and Panasonic. And our batteries, we use Simplify batteries and kilovolt batteries primarily because good reputation. And I'm partial to Simplify batteries because they're a California-based company. And they actually have some really interesting rebate programs and purchase programs for California residents.
I'm gonna leave it on then. Okay. Someone else asked, how many solar panels do I need? I think they need to let us know what size they need it for. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, knowing how many solar panels you need, it depends on what you're doing. So if you're looking for backup, it can be a different answer than if you're doing grid tie. But generally speaking, if you're doing like a grid tie system, you get your bill from PG&E. You can there's a little green button called the green button on PG&E website that you can log into. You can click that. It pulls up a huge amount of data, how much energy you use. You can take that information, put it into a spreadsheet, or you can send it to us, we'll do that. But you put it into a spreadsheet, you break down how much energy you use over time so that you can build like a energy target, energy generation target. So you'll know this is like how much power we use, and so we need to generate this much solar.
Oh, excellent. And for anyone that's watching, we added all the links on the top of the Facebook post. So if you have further questions or want to go to the website that he mentioned in the beginning, you'll be able to fill out that chart that he's talking about. So I just want to check through the questions here. We have a few more minutes. So if you have any questions about solar backup power, you can ask that in the Q&A section in the Zoom, or you can ask it on Facebook Live right now. Okay. Through the questions here.
And one thing I was going to just bring up, just that promotion that I was talking about with the batteries with Simplify. It's called Energize CA, just in case anyone was interested in looking that up.
Excellent, thank you. Is there insurance offered on the solar system that you kind of hook up? Solar.
I mean, so your solar equipment falls under your homeowner's insurance. So, I mean, that would have, if you have a system installed, you'd have to add that to your homeowner's insurance to have it be covered. I mean, that being said, the equipment generally all has at least a 10-year warranty. Panels are 25 years, 25 to 30 years, depending. But just about everything has a 10-year warranty on the industry. And some of that is actually industry regulated.
That's excellent. Okay, we have time for a couple more questions. Let's see here. During the PSPS event last year, there was a salesman at a local store selling them from his van. Is that safe to buy from them?
I mean, unfortunately, I don't know what they were selling. I mean, anything being sold out of the back of the van, I'm a little bit skeptical of. But I mean, you know, I mean, if it works and, you know, the product is, you know, from a reputable company and, you know, there's, you know, a way to find them online, and then I see that as, I mean, maybe, but I mean, again, I'm a little bit skeptical of anything out of the back of the van.
Right. Yeah. And you guys have more of a kind of one-on-one approach with people after the fact.
Yeah. I mean, so not only do we have we have the salespeople, we have customer service people who deal with just with like customer service issues. So if you're having a problem, they can get you who you need to talk to. We have technical specialists who are able, you know, I mean, they can troubleshoot darn near anything. They have an incredible amount of knowledge. So, you know, there's a whole system and structure for, you know, helping take care of people, because, you know, at the end of the day, we want our people to be safe and not have any problems, really.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's nice that you guys offer that ability to people to kind of contact you ahead of time on the website. They can reach out to you guys by phone or email, and I'm sure that's on the website as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then they can put this chart together and then see if it really works with their house. Do you guys go on site at all, or you just trust the system that the stuff that they put into the?
So, so when we receive, so if you were to go on and fill out one of our online applications, so that would come to a salesperson. We would take that information and design a system based on what is submitted. But that's not where we end, really. We would then, you know, we send that to you, we contact you, we talk to you, and then we kind of go through and try to determine if, you know, maybe something was forgotten, you know, maybe there's some, you know, another angle that we needed to, you know, go down. You know, we try to take, you know, take everything that we get and try to be able to extract any more information out so that we're able to get the system that is going to be right versus, you know, the system that might first present itself.
Let me just check here. Okay, we have one more minute and we have one last question.
All right.
It's a follow-up to what you just said. They asked, do you do that for something smaller scale during power outages? So I think they're talking about maybe like a battery for something simple, you know, like when people use a generator to plug in just the fridge or a microwave. Do you guys do something smaller scale like that?
Yeah, so that like the portable system, I mean, that's kind of like our jumping off point. So for us, what we have is called a kilovolt rescue unit. It was actually originally designed for the Puerto Rico during like when they had I mean, which hurricane, but one of the hurricanes, and, you know, people were without power there for a very long time. And we were looking for something that was, you know, cost effective and could be able to, you know, kind of keep you going for a day. So with our rescue, so we have the base model, which is just the rescue unit, but then we also have a model that is the unit that has, it has an inverter, has a lithium iron phosphate battery inside of it. It plugs into the wall to charge, but it also can charge from solar panels. So you could actually, you know, keep a refrigerator going for a day, you know, have some lights on. I know for me personally, like during the power safety shutoffs that we had last year when it was a long time, you know, just having, I mean, I just had a very small battery backup system. I mean, very, very small. But I was able to keep a couple light bulbs on and, you know, keep the refrigerator going every once in a while. And, you know, we're definitely happy to help people out with these systems and, you know, work with people to, you know, get them something small. I mean, we're not just, you know, selling huge systems, you know, we're, you know, we like to help everybody out.
Do things for tiny homes as well, I've heard. So that's
yes.
In the middle there, right?
Yeah, tiny homes, yeah, we do have, I mean, we have a couple pre-designed systems for tiny homes, you know, work with a lot of people on those. And, you know, I mean, we really, I mean, we do everything from like these little units for just a little bit of backup power up to utility scale. So, you know, we're more focused towards like customers, but we can do anything really. So
That's great. That's great. Well, we're out of time for questions and answers, but I want to give you the opportunity if there's anything last that you would like to speak about, Garrett, or?
no, I mean, I really appreciate everyone coming out and, you know, giving me their time. And I really appreciate the questions. It's, I do like having some good feedback there.
That's great. Yeah. And for anyone that is following, again, we'll have all the contact information on top. So even though the video is ended, you still have an opportunity to reach out to Garrett here and any follow-up questions you have. And we just want to remind everybody, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we'll have Kelly Bosell talking about emergency preparation for your pets. And we might have another meeting after that. It's still up in the air because of the fires. And thank you, Garrett. We really appreciate your time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and conclude the meeting.